Hey guys, welcome back! We're inside! Because outside there's weather! And the weather last week has been... Let's say if the weather was a person, she'd be that aunt that always drives you into a corner at family gatherings and forces you to listen to her stories about all her complicated surgeries. Yeah, that's the weather right now. Ah! But there's also a lot of cool stuff happening, like my birthday, which I celebrated last weekend and which was epic. And I got a lot of cool gifts. And one of those gifts I think will help me significantly to make better videos. So let's check it out. Da-da-da-da. This is not an exotic animal. This is a stand that's been especially designed for phones, so that you can film more easily. And as you can see, you can set it up on a floor or other surface that you want to set it up on. But it's also got these legs that are flexible, so you can also clasp them around any makeshift stand you would like to use, be it a ladder or your, I don't know, your bicycle or your arm or whichever you decide to use. And that makes it so much easier to make good quality footage, so I'm super happy with it. Cool, isn't it? So I thought what I'd do today is tell you about my plans for 2016 with the garden, because I think it's gonna rock. I can't say that I have seen similar things here on YouTube, but this exact thing, not really, so that might be really cool. As you have seen, we have this tiny backyard, it's 12 square meters, and what I'm gonna try and do is grow as many vegetables in there as possible. And an added interest maybe is that we're also super low budget and we don't have a car. Ta-da! Hello complications! I'm not crazy enough to think that I can actually grow enough veg to feed us both throughout the year, because let's face it, that's just ridiculous. But I am very interested in that idea of maximizing your space and maximizing your soil too, because I think that's a crucial part of getting as much out of your garden as possible. So not only am I going to show you how I plan things out, but also how I can prepare the soil with minimum budget and minimum resources, really, because it's not like there's a horse ranch around the corner where I can ask for fresh manure. So that's going to be a challenge, and I saw a lot of videos that have given me a pretty good idea of things that I can do for free, so I'm going to be doing that. And also I'm going to show you how you can plant in succession, which is not something I've ever done before. Don't worry, it's all going to be trial and error like all my other videos. So I guess it's going to be more like a journal. You can follow me around, see where I do things right and where I screw things up, and you can think like, oh, Rinske, what are you doing? And that will provide you hopefully with amusement, and me with some vegetables and some important life lessons. Okay, so that's part one of my plans. And then here we have part two, which was also a birthday present. Here it comes. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? The Edible Garden! The Edible Garden is a book by Alice Fowler. She's a beautiful British lady with flowy red hair and eccentric names for her chickens. And she wrote this book, and she also did a mini-series for the BBC by the same name. I'm gonna drop the book now. The episodes are all full length, available on YouTube. You should really check them out if you haven't already. That's changed my life. Yeah. An edible garden is a garden that's both functional and beautiful. And that means that you just mix annuals, perennials, vegetables, flowers, and create one big, happy, hippie, organic mess. Structured kind of mess. And the minute I saw it, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. Why is so good? What? I never understood why you should have your vegetables in a straight row, and why you couldn't have a lot of flowers on your allotment or not a lot of vegetables in your backyard. It makes no sense because it's all plants. Almost rhymes. So that's definitely going to be a challenge. Not only do I want to maximize the garden in terms of yields, but I also want to create this organic hippy dippy happy unity where the purple unicorns come to drink from the fountain of youth. Yeah! So yeah, that's going to be a huge challenge, and once again you'll probably see me fall on my face many times And that's fine by me, because I never want to be an expert at anything. I just always want to be a beginner and be eager to learn. And yeah, I'm kind of proud of that. So it's all good. So yeah, all that madness will start in the spring, but this upcoming October I'll already start ripping out the raised bed and putting in some green manure. So now that I have that spiffy new phone stand and I can show you around without making you want to throw up, I thought I'd show you around the garden one last time, and so you can commemorate its memory the way it is now before we change it all up. So yeah, let me take you on a little tour, okay? Okay, so let's first go to this raised bed, because this is the place where I really want to do the edible garden part. I want to just rip this whole bed out, basically, and rip the bean rack out. And what I'm gonna do is I am gonna harvest everything in there that I can still harvest, then rip all the plants out. I'm gonna dig it over once. I'm not sure, I'm sort of torn between dig and no dig. No dig makes a lot of sense to me, but this ground is super hard, it's super sandy, it's never been worked before, so I might have to do one dig just to get a good start. And then I'm gonna plant some green manure. So that's the plan for this. I have this whole elaborate map drawn up of where I'm gonna put what. I might even put like a tiny little pond in the middle here. That's a very wild plan that I have not passed by Derek yet, so let's see if that's gonna be a reality. So here we have the path, and then we have the the herbs. These ones I think I'm gonna dig out and put in a big container. So what I'm gonna do is make from the wood that I'm gonna save by deconstructing the raised bed, I'm gonna make a bigger herb bed here and trim these back considerably, and then add the other herbs to it. So there's a lot of space freed up here for the strawberries. This is my bean contraption. These were the chestnut beans, the French beans that I had to let dry on the plants. As you can see, I did that. I think I'm gonna harvest them later today. Lesson learned here is that, well, basically this went very well, but the lesson that I learned is that you can put more beans around one stake, so that's definitely what I'm gonna do. All these herbs are coming out. Also this raspberries coming out, because I'm finding that I am getting to be more of a snob. The more I garden, the more I want to grow species that I know have great taste. Like if I'm gonna have space for one strawberry plant or raspberry plant, I want to know it's the best possible raspberry plant that I can put in there. And this one is not it. I'm sorry to say, it's not very tasty, it's not very sweet. So it's gonna have to go. Sorry. This is pretty much the same story. This is that weird plant that looks a little bit like deadly nightshade. Turns out it actually isn't. It's called golden pearl, and I did sample the berries and I didn't die. Good news. And yes, I have some here. I hope you can see that. And it's the same story. I sort of like them. I mean, they're okay. They're not. I'm not jumping up and down with joy, and it does take up a lot of space. So what I've learned from this year, if you want to maximize your space, you have to be a little bit ruthless. This was my bean arch, which I really like for the looks of it. Just basically bean poles in the shape of an arc, because that's the thing I wanted to do, because I can, and I did. It worked really well and still producing, but this is an example, and this is an example of what I said earlier. I don't really like those beans. They're runner beans, and they got this. I know they're too big now and they won't taste any good like this, but even if they're small, I just don't like them, to be honest. So I won't be growing those again, because even though they look really nice in this tiny garden, I have to be ruthless. Here we have the other border. This plant is gonna stay because it's a favorite with both me and Dirk. And also it attracts a lot of insects, so that's good, and I don't want to mess that up. So that's gonna stay. Also this anemone is gonna stay because it's an original plant from this garden and I love it. And I was doing some chores in another neighbor's backyard. He's 87, and he told me some of the plants were like 50. He had a rose that's literally 50 years old. I mean, you don't want to just, rip that out because it's inconvenient to you. So Call me sentimental, but I'm gonna keep it. This little cherry tree is gonna stay here. This is the mind blank, mind blank, mind blank. Rhubarb. That's also gonna stay. I put that in just this year. There was another wallflower there. And then there's the peach tree that I'm gonna keep in a pot for the next 2 years, and then I'm also gonna put in. So that's this border. It's pretty much gonna stay as it is because I like this combination of rhubarb and vegetables and flowers. But what I am gonna remove is this. This is a Japanese wineberry, and as you can see, it's the construction, if you can call it that. This construction has now come to an end, and also it's really not happy here. Look, this is a second-year-old branches that are supposed to bear fruit. They did, but not a whole lot. These are the new leaves. They look happier, but still there's not enough nutrients in here for them. I can't get to them, so that's not a good idea. And this is Tomato Island. You've seen this before. And this is going to stay the same. It's just going to move slightly to the left in the place of the Japanese wineberry, so that I have more space here. It's bucket bonanza right now, but that's because of all my plants that require a lot of buckets. And I'm going to rip all this gravel out, gonna remove all the buckets from here, and I'm going to put in, I think, maybe also some green manure, and then in the spring/summer I'm going to put my corn here. That's gonna be interesting. I don't know if I can grow that here, but that's definitely a big experiment. Oh yeah, and then to top it off, this is my last project. I'm gonna try and not to blind you. This is the pumpkin. These are the roof pumpkins. They grow up in crates on the roof, as you can see. This was also an experiment to see if I could use some of that space up there. And it appears that I can. They grew all the way down, and I guided the vines over to this side. It's it's again north facing, so that's not the best, not ideal, but it gets a lot of sun up there, so it's doesn't seem to be a problem. And actually, my first pumpkin is in here. Wow, look! Oh, I'm so proud of this. I am aware it's really small. It's probably not gonna come to its full size before the frosts get here. So next year, that's definitely a lesson. I have to start earlier with the pumpkins. I think I started late June with this. I was aware that was really late, but I was gonna give it a go anyway. But next year's definitely gonna be much earlier. Hey guys!